I would like to clarify something first before I actually talk about what brought me to the camera. As a free, did you hear me? Free spirit. Everything I talk about, everything I write about, everything I try to express is coming from a personal point of view, a personal understanding about life. It is not a general point of view or a general truth. That is for religion. Religion creates a general guide for people to use to navigate their life. Religion creates a general point of view. And that is why I'm not religious. Because I am personally redefining the things that they taught me. I'm redefining it in my own personal understanding, in my own personal, just the way I have been experiencing life. I'm using that to create a guide for myself. Okay, so please don't misunderstand me, because I keep getting this comment on my YouTube videos on, those videos where I talk about these things, or people saying, "Who told you this? Where are you reading it from?" You know, just people trying to annoy me, but they're not actually annoying me. They're just letting me understand that, they have not gotten to the level where they can relate to what I'm saying. They are still operating from a particular framework, which is religion, of course. So yeah, let me clarify that. Don't come on this video and be asking me, "Hey, who told you? Where are you getting your information from?" Nowhere. It's personal. That being said, please let's talk about something interesting, something exciting. So I talked about how sin is an illusion. It does not exist. On the video where I talked about sex. I tried, when I talk fast, I miss my words. I tried to make you guys understand that sex is not a sin. And when I said sex is not a sin, I also said sin does not exist. And I would like to explain why I said that. And this is, again, coming from a personal point of view or a personal understanding. Now, what is sin? If you go right now and ask on a universal level, what is sin? Sin does not exist. Try doing your research. On a universal level, sin does not exist. Sin only exists in religion, culture, tradition, society, and not sin. In all this, I don't know what to call them, in all these areas that I have mentioned, they are not even recognized as sin. The only place it is actually really recognized as a sin is religion, on religious practices. That is the only way, the only place, the only area where it is actually recognized as a sin. Like when you go against the certain rules and regulation that particular religion has created or constructed, then you are sinning against their God. But then on a universal level, on a natural level, it is not recognized. There is no sin. Sin does not exist. There is nothing like a sin. Just the same way morals was created. There is nothing like morals on a universal level. That does not exist. There is no good, there is no bad. There is just negative and positive. And I'm going to explain what sin really is. But first of all, let's talk about these areas, why they created these rules and regulation, and they call it sin. Now, religion created it because when you go against the rules and regulation that they have created to limit humans from expressing themselves to the fullest, from connecting to some certain aspect of themselves, once you go against that rules and regulation, when you try to connect with that aspect of yourself, you are going against God. And that is why they created a place of punishment when you go against these rules and regulations, so that they're able to let me not use the word limit you. So they're able to put you in line, put you in check, okay? Just to be able to control your self-expression, just to be able to control your mind, your reality. It's just a form of control. Was it done intentionally? Of course it was. Anything that has been created in this particular world that we live in was done intentionally. Anything. anything, everything. Okay, it is intentional. Nothing is by accident or coincidence. It is all intentional. Now, on a cultural level, it is not called sin. There are rules and regulation, and if you go against these rules and regulation, you create an imbalance. You go against, norms, cultural norms, and you create an imbalance. And they call it, some call it a sin, a taboo, or what else? Drum rolls. Google karma. Karma, okay? Now, some religious practices actually sees these things as karma. They don't call it sin. Some religious practice, I think Hinduism, they see it as karma. They call it karma. What goes around comes around. And they are actually closer to the truth than the other people. They are closer to the truth. And I will explain. Now, let me explain what sin is. On society level, it's crime. Okay, when you go against rules and regulation, it's crime. I forgot to mention society. So when you go against rules and regulation, it is a crime. Okay, against the society. Now, what is sin? It doesn't exist, but what are they trying to tell us? What is the bigger picture? That is something that being free spirited has taught me, to always see the bigger picture, to always see, the bigger frame. Because what they gave us was the smaller frame. Now, what is the bigger frame? Sin, which does not exist, is just, for every action, there is a reaction, an equal reaction. For every action you take as a human, for everything that you do in life, for every single thing, good or bad, which still does not exist. So let me say positive and negative. For every positive or negative thing that you do in life, there is a reaction, consequences that comes with it. Now, consequences is not a bad thing. It's just something that happens. It's an effect that happens when something is done, when an action is being taken, when, I don't know if you get. That's it. So for positive or negative action, there is an equal reaction. And that is the only thing that exists on a universal truth or universal level. That is the only thing that exists. That is the only thing that nature recognizes. You cannot go against natural law. And once you go against natural law, there is a consequences. Okay, there is a consequence. What do they worry me on consequences? There's a consequence. And that is why I say sin does not exist. Morals too don't exist. It's an idea, a construct created to control humans. It's all for control. It is all for manipulation. It is all for just the game of life. It is a world that we created. Nature does not recognize morals. So you see this thing where they say you cannot do this. If you do this will happen. This will happen. Nature does not really recognize that. Now, what nature recognizes is what I've just said, the action, and you get your reaction, good or bad. So for morals, for good and bad, every community, every society, every geography, every religion, every culture, every tradition creates their own. They create their own to be able to control the people living in that particular environment. They create their own for them to be able to, manipulate the people living in that particular environment. So all of them have created theirs. Religion has theirs. Culture have theirs. Tradition, everybody have theirs different. For every religion, it is different. You know that the rules and regulation is different. That what they call sin is different for every religion. It is kind of different. Some are related, especially the ones called the Abrahamic religion. You know what I mean? They are almost related, but then there are some that their rules and regulation is different. What they call sin is different. And then in some cultures, their rules and regulation is different. Some tradition, the same thing. Some society, the same thing. Some just different ideas and constructs just to control the people in it. Okay? That's what exists. So please stop seeing sin from the level where you see it. Please see the bigger picture. And there's something I would like to talk about. I was not able to talk about it on this video because my time is almost up. But then I would like to talk about why we are actually waking up to this particular truth. Why a lot of people are waking up to this truth, where they're starting to understand that these words are just constructs. They don't really